Hello, my name is Robin Mullin, and I'm the president of the Insight Edge Foundation for Education. And it's a pure delight to announce that we are sponsoring a beautiful new series by Diana Wentworth, who will be sharing her amazing tips and practices and inspirations around creating more magic in your life. This is the second part of the 6-part series on Expect Magic. And the theme today is physicality, enlivening the body. Enjoy. So I'd like to introduce you to Diana Wentworth. She's been a best-selling author, award-winning author, actually, of 10 books, including her beautiful memoir, Send Me Someone. And she is now putting some of her stories and tips and inspirational ideas into her 11th book. She is an amazing, beautiful woman with a big, big heart who's continually, even after the age of 80 now, creating new and wonderful things in her life and for all of us. And with great joy and excitement, I'm able to introduce you to her now.
Today is all about physicality. And this is all about our presence in the world in a body. And I think there are ways that we treat our body that could be so much better than the way we tend to treat them. So as we talked about what Expect Magic is, it's really all about knowing and trusting that there's so much more to life than can ever be seen, that there are unseen forces, there's divine goodness that we can tap into, there's so much more that we can access. And so we practice inquiry and we learn to trust this connection we have with the divine as our most dependable resource. So we ask and we tune in and we listen. So today it's really all about the body. And the body, when you think about it, it's our first gift. And it's a miracle. Our body is a miracle. When you think of the trillions of cells that we have in our body and how they create all the organs and the blood flow and actually reinvent themselves so regularly that we don't have a single cell in our body that was there when we were born. I mean, there's just all this renewal going on all the time. And I think that's something that is so important to pay attention to with a lot of gratitude and reverence. And so my goal in this discussion is really about appreciating our body with new eyes. So I'm going to tell you a personal story that I think is going to hit home. My weakness, when I feel badly, it is probably because I feel like I'm letting somebody down. So if I ever have a feeling that I'm disappointing somebody, that I'm not living up to what they believe that I need to give to them, that really hurts. It's really the worst feeling I ever had. So as a child, I think this is where it came from, really. As a child, I was this super creative little girl. And I wanted to learn to knit and crochet and chop wood and jump off walls and do magic and all of those things. I was pretty irrepressible, and that really annoyed my father. So I was learning, my grandmother had taught me how to crochet. So I decided I was going to crochet something. And somebody said, "What are you crocheting?" And I said, "This is going to be pajamas for my father." Which, can you imagine crocheted pajamas, how uncomfortable that would be and how unrealistic, really. And then I got to the point where I started dropping stitches. And then I'd work around and get them all put together, but it was really messy and there were all these holes in it. And somebody said, "When do you think you're going to finish that, Diana?" And, I was about to answer and my father said, "Diana never finishes anything." And that statement pretty much ruled me and all the decisions that I made in my life up until a better time. Diana never finishes anything. So as you all know, I was standing in a hotel lobby in Hong Kong very early in the morning, and Paul von Wellnitz walked out of the elevator and asked me where I was from, and we were engaged 3 days later. Well, I have to tell you that man and I were maybe not just soulmates, but twin souls. And we were so madly in love and passionate about each other, to the point that Lexi even said to me the other day, she said, you know what I loved about you and Dad? I said, what? She said, it always seemed like you guys had just met 3 days before, and you were so delighted with each other. And that was true. So I'm thinking back to a time when I was just newly married to Paul. We'd only been married about maybe a month, when we saw a sewing machine for sale. And my mother and grandmother had been fabulous seamstresses, and his mother was too. And he was worried that I was a little spoiled, and that it would be really great if I learned to make clothes, and that would be a creative outlet for me. So we bought that. And then my mother's birthday was coming up. So I decided to make her an apron. And I was making the apron and very impatient to get it done. And I was gathering all of the little threads where you gather the waistband and you kind of make it all ruffly. And then you're going to put the waistband on it, but I was doing this and the threads kept breaking, and I got really frustrated and really fed up. And I remember having like this tantrum where I threw it on the floor and I said, I hate this. I'm not going to finish this. Well, that was a moment I will never forget, because Paul pulled up a chair and sat down next to me, and he said, Kitten, I'm disappointed in you. Wow. I still cry when I think about it, because that went through my heart like an arrow. And I'm very sensitive to letting anybody down. But I know that in that moment, I kind of looked at myself and I said, really? You're going to quit something because it's hard? Come on, you can do this. Other people do this. You can do this. So I began to do it more carefully. I began to do it in a way that I was being mindful and paying attention to the thread and how I wasn't jerking it or pulling it. And I fell in love with sewing. I finished the apron and gave it to my mother for her birthday. But after that, I began to sew a lot of things. And I actually could buy couturier patterns at the fabric store and make those things. And I don't think anybody knows this except you right now, is that I taught sewing before I taught cooking. So there's something about that when we're programmed in a certain way and we speak badly to ourselves, we hear going through our head something like, Diana never finishes anything. There's another way of speaking. And when we think about our body and how we treat our body, how do we do that? We say, oh, I have a bad knee. Or, oh, it's really bad of me to be eating this. I shouldn't be eating this. I actually counteract that. What I say, people say, Diana, how can you eat that? I say, everything I eat is good for me. Why not? Why not bless whatever it is we're doing and never diminish things in our eyes, especially our precious body. Or the word anxious, people say, I'm anxious to do this. No. Get anxious out of your vocabulary. Make it, I'm eager to meet so-and-so. I can't wait, so that we are getting a rush of endorphins in our body as we speak to it. So we speak to our bodies really right now as if they're letting us down. And we always do that. Think about it. We say, oh, these old bones, or I guess aging is just something I'm going to have to accept. It's all downhill from here. I hear people say things like this all the time. So today we're going to begin an entirely new conversation with our body. And we're going to have an inquiry with our body. And we're going to ask it things like, what really feels good to you, my beautiful body? What do you love? What can we do that you love today? What would make you feel wonderful today? Are you getting this? Are you feeling this? That this is a whole new thing? I'm sure each one of you have had a pet that you adored. And we say to this little dog, for instance, oh, good boy, good dog, you're so precious. We just pour love into this little creature. And what does it do? It loves us back. It waits by the door. You know, it's eager to see us. It wants to learn tricks. It wants to do things that return that love that we've poured into it. This is really a magical, mystical concept. People say to me, Diana, how have you had two unbelievably romantic and devoted husbands, playful, wonderful, everything you ever wanted? How have you done that? And I think that most people want to be loved. They're looking for somebody to love them. But that's a very shallow feeling. Being loved, if you don't love yourself, you can't hear the love that's coming at you from other people. So the power, the payoff is what I say about being in a loving relationship is in the loving. I mean, don't you love loving your little cat or your dog or your goldfish or your lizard? I mean, we just pour that love out. And that's what we can do with our own magical, amazing bodies. And we can give our body what it loves. So mine loves music. It absolutely loves music. I have a little thing called a Google Home Nest. It's a little device that's like $45 or something at the Google store. And I say to it, hey, Google. And then I have to use the word play, and it'll play any music I want. It'll absolutely any song. I mean, it goes to YouTube music, and it just is my command. It's really, really funny, but I have to direct it correctly. That's the key. If I don't use the word play, it has a whole other response. So I'm going to give you an example. I have a favorite piece of music that it plays and then leads into other similar music in a similar genre. And the name of this music is I Have Loved You for 1,000 Lifetimes. And then I have all this divine music playing around me all day, and my body loves that. But if I don't use the word play, it just, the other day, for instance, I said to it, hey, Google, I have loved you for 1,000 lifetimes. And it said, oh, thank you. That's the nicest thing anyone ever said to me. So it's very important that we be very, very specific. And I have a meditation that will be in a separate piece that is being very specific to this body. So, and we notice then as we speak to it with great love and with great directions, that it begins to supply to us all the things that it wants and that we need. So at the age of 81, here I am in absolutely the most radiant, vibrant health. And this is no accident, because I pay attention. If my flexibility, if I'm losing it, if I notice that it's hard to get off the floor, I always think, okay, what can I do to make this easier? And then an idea will come to me. What can I do to get new energy in my body? And then somebody recommended a song called Jerusalema. So I asked the Google thing to play Jerusalema, and it goes into this very bouncy, wonderful 2.5-minute music that I get up and dance to. And I do this several times a day because it's hot here in Palm Springs. I can't always go out walking when it's so hot, but I can dance around the house, and I can get my energy moving, and I can feel the blood flowing, and I can feel so much better. And it guided me to find a type of Qigong that I can watch in the morning. And it has me moving back and forth and using my spine, and it just takes me 10 minutes. Or it led me to a brain enhancement technology that I do all my meditation to. Your body knows, it has the wisdom of the divine in it to tell you what it needs, what will be really good for you. It is a fantastic resource that we can have in asking our body. So I just want you to think about what questions would really serve your body to ask. Do you remember when we talked about quintessential questions? The question itself has some of the answer in it. I talked about where's the most joy to be found today? Well, joy is the answer, of course, but it also shows me the means to discover the joy. And there's just all of these wonderful questions that you can begin to ask your beautiful body. You know, what do you love? What do you love to feel? What would be fun for us to do together today? How can we spark some joy in other people by doing some kind of activity? Maybe it's going to a class. Maybe you'll just get an idea of something that is really, really amazing. This is called a cushion for your head. Just sit there right now. Don't do a thing. Just rest. For your separation from God, from love, is the hardest work in this world. Let me bring you trays of food and something that you like to drink. You can use my soft words as a cushion for your head. Great. So now we're going to do a writing exercise. I hope you have a pen or your computer or a little piece of paper that you can just jot a few things down. You're going to remember what it feels like to treat your body as a beloved pet. And what are the questions that you can come up with for your body that make you tingle all over? What do you love? What makes you feel loved? What makes your body feel loved? What fills you with joy and exuberance? So you're already noticing already that joy and exuberance, that's right there, that's part of the solution. That's going to lead to the most profound answers. So we're going to now do, let's do a 5-minute or so meditation with our body that's going to take us into a very deep and magical place that we can live with our body. So sit in a very comfortable chair right now and put your feet flat on the floor. And you might close your eyes. You're in a safe place. You're in a comfortable place. And take a deep breath in, maybe 5 minutes on an in-breath. And 5 seconds on an out breath. 5 minutes on an in breath. 5 seconds on an in breath. And 5 seconds on an out breath. And if you notice any disturbance in your body, any negativity, any distraction, notice where it is and just gently send all that down to the center of the earth. Let it go down through your feet, down, 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 down into the center of the earth, where it is neutralized. And be grateful that it can be neutralized there. It doesn't exist anymore. And now, draw pure light, pure nature energy, pure golden light up in through your feet. And feel it moving up through your body, through all your chakras and energy centers. And let it move into the crown of your head, above your head, just a little bit into the crown chakra. And then let it come down into your physical heart as you place your hand on your physical heart, which is at the top of your chest. And then picture that light settling just a little bit lower into the place that you sense is your heart center. This is our heart chakra. This is the seat of your soul. By settling into your heart center, by placing your hand on it, you're drawing your awareness to that place. And this is a very primal, very ancient act that is the key to the deepest truth of who you are as an individual. This is your connection to the divine, where it lives in the body. This true heart, this true soul place, this temple inside of us is just eternal and infinite and unlimited. It can't be damaged. And it's the seat of infinite love inside of us. And so from this place of infinite love, tell your body right now, we're in a place that's safe, my divine body. You are safe to let go of the stress hormones and the feelings of stress, any distractions. Breathe slowly. Maybe 5 seconds on an inhale, 5 seconds on the out breath. And doing this is very important. It's a very important signal to your body that you're signaling, that you're shifting your mind to your heart, and you're saying, I'm turning my attention inward. And then always, as you begin a dialogue, give thanks to what you are dialoguing with. This is good with people. This is good with our body. This is good with wisdom figures that we consult. Or just the appreciation of what this is that we are dialoguing with. And help us realize right now what this body has provided. All of our movement, all of our ability to move and dance and exist and make love and celebrate. Our body is the vehicle that takes us through this life experience. And it's amazing. And when we see that and appreciate it, there begins a cascade of biochemical connections. There's these hormones that are released. We begin to settle in and feel uplifted. Because what we're always asking for is a higher feeling. So now we're going to have a higher feeling about our body and the communication that we can enjoy with our body. So here's a new way of communicating with our body that is extremely powerful. Let's feel a radiant, golden, healing light emanating from our soul, from the divine, that is centered in our heart chakra, the anahata. And this golden light begins to change color and turn into a radiant emerald green color. This is a healing light. This color green is the healing light that we can send through our thoughts and through our openness and our prayers into our own bodies, into the world, into other bodies. And let's appreciate that there are trillions of cells in our own bodies that continually renew themselves. That's their job. We don't have a single cell in our body that we were born with. Our bodies have been renewing and renewing and renewing. And let's say these words in our heads, in our minds. Thank you, every one of the trillions of cells that are making up my physical form. Thank you for all the work you do to renew and refresh. I invite every one of you, my brilliant, intelligent selves. You are renewing yourself. And now you are renewing yourself in your original pattern. The perfect whole intelligence you were born with is remembered right now. I invite every one of you to pay attention to, no attention at all to your present form or situation, but to renew as your perfect original pattern. Healing, transforming as a way of rejuvenation and youthful invigoration. Renew in your original pattern, your perfect, divine, wholesome, original pattern. I trust you to follow these directions and will notice my body becoming more vibrant and more youthful more exuberant. Thank you, thank you, thank you, every delicious cell in my body, for restoring yourself in your perfect pattern. Thank you, my glorious body. I promise to take beautiful care of you and to ask you what you want and to give it to you as much as possible. Thank you. So now we'll be coming back into our chairs, feeling our seat on the chair, our feet on the floor. And we know that there's a cascade of biochemical connections that has been initiated. And it doesn't end when we open our eyes. It doesn't end when we take the breath coming back into the feeling of our body, sitting here with our hand on our heart. Laboratory studies have shown that these biochemicals will last at least 6 hours, and that we will be lit from within with these wonderful healing energies that are moving around and restoring us. Thank you, body. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so with that, let's come back into the room as we feel drawn to do. Yes, you're going to be seeing a video. It only runs a few minutes. It's on YouTube. I actually ask my little Google thing to play it for me every morning. This is by Jan Phillips. Jan Phillips was one of our favorite speakers at the Inside Edge. She always wanted to be a nun. She became a nun, and she was so exuberant and so excited and out there that they actually threw her out of the convent. And she has been the best teacher and poet and everything else. And she created this video called Think of Yourself. Just listen to Jan right now, and it really kind of crosses the T's and dots the I's on what we've been discussing this morning.
Think of yourself as a thought of the Infinite One, made flesh by your sheer desire to see and be seen. Think of yourself as nature, looking upon nature, in awe at its grandeur, in tears for its wounds, nature loving itself, healing itself, speaking out for itself. Think of yourself as a vessel of stardust and clay, a child of the cosmos, transforming energy into matter, wave into particle, mortal into immortal. Think of yourself as a soul who took on a body to be of use, to radiate love and receive it in return. Think of yourself as necessary, purposeful. Remember that you came here to light the world. Think of yourself as a shaman whose hands heal whatever they touch, as a storyteller whose words fall like rain on a drought-stricken land, whose stories are medicine, miracles that heal the sick and raise the dead. Think of yourself as a circle holding yin and yang, as unity cradling the dualities in your arms. Think of yourself as a thought leaning toward radiance, an early dawn rising into daylight. Deep inside you, the fire of creation burns day and night. Atoms forged from the Big Bang spin and swirl in your blood and bones, your lungs and your legs. Like salt in the tear, joy in the laughter, the Holy One is in you, being scattered like seeds across the land as you speak and write and reach out to touch. You are the hands and feet, the eyes and ears of the great beloved. You are the one we are waiting for. Your stories are the ones we are waiting to hear. It is time now for each of us to speak, to say what happened and what we learned. To reveal ourselves is to heal ourselves, and to heal ourselves is to heal each other and the world entire. From our revelations of intimacy and truthfulness, vulnerability and generosity, the future takes shape and enters into us. Our words made flesh, our thoughts made real. Yes, think of yourself as a creator. The peace you desire, the justice you cry out for, these will come as we speak them into being. As the cosmos is being created by the mind of the Infinite One, this world is being created by the minds of the finite ones, by us. Let us be mindful and full of care for the words we speak, the thoughts we think, the stories we tell, for these are the tools with which we build tomorrow.
Thank you, Diana, for beautiful, beautiful morning. So many wonderful, meaningful pieces